The Galactic War had finally ended. Years of conflict between the United Earth Federation, UEF, and the Zyrathian Empire had scarred countless planets and left millions dead. Captain Adrian Vance, a seasoned human commander, stood aboard the UEF starship Eclipse, gazing out at the wreckage of the final battle. The once mighty Zyrathian fleet was nothing more than scattered debris drifting in the void. Among the terms of surrender, the Zyrathians had relinquished their captives, a collection of slaves taken from various species across the galaxy. Adrian detested the idea of slavery, but to his surprise, he was gifted a slave as a reward for his service. The girl was Zyrathian. Her violet skin shimmered faintly under the dim lights of the ship's quarters, her golden eyes burning with defiance. Her name was Kaelara. Adrian sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "I don't believe in this," he said. "You're not a slave anymore." Kaelara's voice was sharp. "So, I am to believe that my chains are gone simply because a human said so. Your kind are no different from the Zyrathians." "I'm trying to help," Adrian replied. "You're free to go where you wish once we reach Earth. Until then, you're safe here." Kaelara's eyes narrowed, but she said nothing. The tension in the room was palpable, and Adrian realized this wasn't going to be easy. Over the next few weeks, Kaelara's fiery spirit clashed with Adrian's sense of duty. She was intelligent, resourceful, and unyielding. Despite her mistrust, she started to observe Adrian more closely. Unlike the Zyrathians, who saw her people as property, Adrian treated her with respect, even kindness. One day, as Adrian was working on a damaged section of the ship, Kaelara approached. "Why do you fight for your federation?" she asked. Adrian paused, wiping sweat from his brow. "I fight to protect those who can't protect themselves. It's not perfect, but we try to do what's right." Kaelara tilted her head. "And yet, your people accepted slaves as trophies. How noble." Adrian frowned. "Not everyone agrees with it. That's why I'm working to make sure you, and everyone else taken, find freedom." For the first time, Kaelara's expression softened. Perhaps this human wasn't like the others she'd encountered. As their journey continued, the two began to forge an uneasy bond. Kaelara's knowledge of Zyrathian technology proved invaluable when the Eclipse encountered an ancient minefield left by her people. Working together, they navigated the deadly traps and ensured the ship's safety. "You could have let us be destroyed," Adrian said afterward. "Why didn't you?" Kaelara hesitated. I don't know. Perhaps I'm not as heartless as you think." Adrian smiled. "I never thought you were. But peace was fleeting." A rogue faction of Zyrathian loyalists ambushed the Eclipse near a derelict planet. Their leader, General Vrek, a brutal warlord, demanded Kaelara's return, claiming she was a high-ranking priestess of their people and a symbol of their empire. Kaelara's eyes widened in shock. "They will use me to rally their forces. If they take me, the war might never end." Adrian's jaw tightened. "I won't let that happen." "You don't understand," Kaelara said. "They'll kill everyone on this ship to get to me. You should hand me over." Adrian shook his head. "Not a chance." The Eclipse was vastly outnumbered, but Adrian's crew was resourceful. Kaelara suggested using an ancient Zyrathian cloaking device stored in the ship's archives. Together, they activated it just as Vrek's forces closed in. In the ensuing chaos, Adrian and Kaelara led a daring counterattack, exploiting the enemy's confusion. Adrian piloted a fighter craft, while Kaelara guided him using her intimate knowledge of Zyrathian battle tactics. Their partnership proved unstoppable, and Vrek's fleet was decimated. When the dust settled, Kaelara turned to Adrian. "You risked everything for me. Why?" Adrian met her gaze. "Because it was the right thing to do. You deserve to choose your own fate." Kaelara's expression softened. For the first time, she smiled. Perhaps not all humans are as cruel as I believed. When they finally reached Earth, Kaelara was granted sanctuary. Adrian used his influence to ensure she was recognized as a diplomat rather than a prisoner. The two parted ways, but not before sharing a quiet moment beneath the stars. "What will you do now?" Adrian asked. Kaelara looked up at the night sky. "I will help rebuild my people. But I will not forget what you've done for me." Adrian extended his hand. "If you ever need an ally, you know where to find me." Kaelara took his hand, her golden eyes glistening. "And if you ever find yourself among the stars, you will always have a friend." As the years passed, tales of Adrian and Kaelara's alliance spread across the galaxy. Their story became a symbol of hope, proving that even in the darkest of times, understanding and compassion could bridge the deepest divides. And on a quiet evening decades later, Adrian, now a retired hero, stood outside his Earthside home, staring up at the stars. A sleek, violet-hued ship descended, landing softly on his property. The hatch opened, and Kaelara emerged, her golden eyes bright with warmth. "You found me," Adrian said, a smile spreading across his face. Kaelara nodded. "I promised I would." Together, they looked to the stars, their shared journey far from over. The universe, vast and unpredictable, still held countless adventures for two unlikely allies bound by trust, sacrifice, and friendship.